Good morning and welcome to Falcon TV News today. It is Wednesday, March 31st, 2021. I'm Kat along the rest of the FTV crew.
Today, we have special coverage of the very thing we bring each morning to you, the audience. We, the team at FTV, turn the cameras around onto the news itself.
Since the days of hearers and polarizer, the idea of selling news and stationizing, and it's been the practice. Over time, it focused on facts, credibility, and trustworthiness from anchors and stations. Over time, as papers shut down and social media began to take over the ways of the old days and overstating, embellishing and playing it up, the hype has made it more difficult to know who and what is right or true. Recently, a study was done on the covering of COVID itself, finding that the coverage by U.S. publications with national audience has been much more negative than coverage by any other source that researchers analyzed, including scientific journals, major international publications, and regional U.S. media. About 87% of COVID coverage in national U.S. media last year was negative. The share was 51% in international media, 53% in U.S. regional media, and 64% in scientific journals. Notably, the coverage was negative in both U.S. media outlets with liberal audiences like MSNBC and those with conservative audience like Fox News. The scientists are careful to emphasize that they do not think journalists were trying to report falsehoods. The issue is which facts that emphasize. Still, the new study which the National Bureau of Economic Research has published as a working paper titled, "Why is all COVID-19 news bad news?" calls for some self-reflection from those of us in the media.
If we're constantly telling a negative story, we are not giving our audience the most accurate portrait of reality. We are shading it. We are doing a good job telling you why COVID cases are rising in some places and how the vaccines are imperfect, but not such a good job explaining why cases are falling elsewhere or how the vaccines save lives. Perhaps most important, we are not being clear about which COVID developments are truly alarming. Another member of the research team said, "The media is painting a picture that is a little bit different from what the scientists are saying. The researchers say they are not sure what explains their findings, but they do have a leading contender. The U.S. media is giving the audience what it wants." Another finding was that the stories that people choose to read skew even more negative than the stories that media organizations choose to publish. They said, "It seems that human beings, particularly consumers of major media, like negativity in their stories, and that they think that the major media are responding to consumer demand."
Overseas, some of the most influential English language media organizations, like the BBC, have long received government funding, potentially making them less focused on consumer demand. Most journalists care about doing work that has an impact. In the modern era of journalism, dating roughly to the Vietnam War and Watergate, news tended to equate impact with asking tough questions and exposing problems. There are some good reasons for that. Americans are inundated by politicians, business executives, movie stars, and others trying to portray themselves in the best light. The viewer's job is to cut through the self-promotion and find the truth. So if reporters don't tell you the bad news, audience may never hear about it. Sometimes, though healthy skepticism can turn into reflexive cynicism, and reporters end up telling something less than a complete story. All this said, holding up a mirror to the work of the news and those who share with audience lets them know they can do more and be wary of what they are telling the public.
A reminder that tomorrow will be a virtual day with the straight 8 for all classes.
Well, that's all for today. So from me and everyone here at Falcon TV, have a great day.